Uh, Premier, all protocol observed. We are fast running out of time, so I'm going to take it that I've acknowledged all of you in the House. Premier, let me start by congratulating you for outstanding leadership. If you ask me, how do you determine an outstanding leader? My answer is the one who gets things done. You know, first impressions last. Premier, I arrived last night in East London. I noticed two things quickly. Because I've not been here for a while. And one of the things I noticed is that the airport has got a new name. The second one was the road to the airport. So I said to my wife, I think this road looked different. And then she said, yeah, I think they have put two lanes going that way. And you can see there's still touch-ups to finalize, but it's there. Very good, smooth road. So I noticed that. Because one of my characteristics is to notice things. I told this story many times that someone in my office said to me, Deputy President, is your middle name Thomas? Because ngathi ukholwa ngokubona. So I saw that and I realized that something is happening in the Eastern Cape. And I was not wrong. By the time I got to Lusikisiki, I saw that things are happening. One of the best reports I've got as I was moving around was from the mayor of the district in OR Tambo. The mayors gave reports. The report was so detailed, so excellent. And I said to her, because we didn't have a lot of time, so the program director was stopping her. Stop. And she kept pushing. So I said to her, I want that report, which she gave me. But thank you very much, Premier, because I think it's important that when we are given an opportunity to lead, we must be focused. National government has come up with plans and everything, economic recovery and reconstruction programs. And at the provincial level, we must focus on implementation. And that's what I see happening here. But also, Executive Mayor, let's give credit to you. Who was paired up this seat? So we're going to give credit to you even when at some point the Premier kicks you. But we give the credit to you as well. Good leadership, Mayor. Let me just start by saying that, and this is what I said yesterday as well, that we need more time. And I've already committed that we will have ministers and ministers you had yesterday, we have to come back. We need to give all sectors enough time. You as business people here, we want to spend half a day with you. But we were caucusing with the Premier that sawucela ukuba le report yenu ni consolidate so that you don't have too many reports. It must come as one report from business so that it makes life easier. We have one report, then we engage. But give us all those reports. We're going to look at them so that when we come back, we don't start from scratch. What we do when we come back, we will give you a feedback from what you said, and then we discuss on that basis. So that's what we're going to do. Now, let me tell you why we are here. The president came up with this approach of the district development model, the DDM. It's being implemented all over the country. The president asked me to go around the country and check if it is being implemented properly and it's working. So that's why we are here to see if the district development model is working. Comrade Castle, I'm told you are our champion here. The two of you. Okay. The two of you are the champions here. So the champions must make sure that the district development model works. So we are here with other ministers. Minister Tulas is here, Minister Lindy Zulu. Yesterday we visited a project she's supporting, Home Home in Lusikisiki. So, so ministers and deputy ministers who are here, we are coming to support you as you work with the province and municipality. That's the reason why we are here. I've obviously haven't seen everything, but as far as I've seen, I think the Eastern Cape is not on the right track, as far as I've seen. And we would like to support you to move even faster. The other provinces are also doing it. We're in KZN, and by the way, in KZN also they complained that they wanted me to stay longer because there's a municipality they wanted me to visit and I couldn't. Minister Tulas was also there. But what we want to see, I would like to see provinces competing of who's the best in implementing DDM. So dear Batat, take them. Take them, dear, take them. Show them. So that when other provinces wake up, they must know that they must come to the Eastern Cape to look at the best model. They don't have to go to China. They must come to the Eastern Cape and see the best model of implementation. Now, the good thing with the DDM model is that we pull our resources together. It's not just plans. Obviously, many plans to one plan together. We pull resources together. We implement together. And I want to suggest that we also try and have one report. So when we come to an area and say, let's get a report, if the Minister of Local Government, MEC Williams, if it's you reporting, you will say, this is the report of what we are doing here, and it must cover everybody, including business. So it must be complete. Complete DDM must not just be government, must include all sectors. And so in that way, the DDM will be complete. So many plans to one plan to one report. Then we have a good picture of what we're doing. But what we're trying to do is now to have the DDM to be a partnership in action. Kungabi slogan. The time of slogans has passed. We are now focusing on execution. We must make those plans to work on the ground. Let me just mention a few issues that we want to prioritize as national government. One of them is energy. The Premier has already said load shedding is creating problems. The OEMs here, you spoke about Mercedes, they need a continuous, uninterrupted supply of energy. And many industries need that. So we understand it very well. So we've prioritized it. And just to mention a few things we are doing, we are going to procure emergency power. So that decision has been taken. It's something similar to something that Minister Gwede Mantashe tried before, and somebody fought him. I can't remember who, but somebody fought him. Now, we have gone back, and so we said to him, "What? Go back there, we support you." So we are busy procuring, so don't be surprised when you see some sheep not far from here. We think we should do that because we need to keep the lights on. Secondly, we will use our coal. And let me qualify what I mean by that. We have coal-fired power stations. Now, when we transit to clean energy, the just transition, people say we must close down our power stations. We don't have a problem there with that, but we're not going to close them now. We're not going to close them now. We are going to close them slowly. So what we're going to do, we are going to check this one can still give us megawatts, whether it's 1,000. We keep it. We keep it. If it needs to be fixed, we fix it. So that we get the necessary electricity that we need to power our own economy. Not that we are resisting to go where everybody's going, but I said when I was addressing business people on Friday last week that we can't be expected to transition in the dark. We can't do that. Yes, we are going there, but we can't transition in the dark. So we have power stations that we can still use. Let's use them. But there's something else we can do. Those who are worried that we want to pollute, let me tell you what we can do. I read that recently Japan said they introduced for their coal a technology for what they call clean technology for coal, so that they can't be seen to be polluting a lot. I actually saw that technology in China as well. So it's there. So as we use our coal-fired power stations, we can mitigate pollution through this technology, rather than running away and say, valane, 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 valane. So we're not going to close. We will close slowly, at our own pace, not at the pace of the big brothers somewhere. You know the big brothers. And Bona, they are not closing. No, but they are asking us, Valan, So we are saying no, we are not going to do it. We will do it at our own pace. And the president has said this. I thought maybe they thought we are joking. The president said we will do this at our own pace, taking into account our own interests. And what are our interests is to ensure that we have enough energy for our people, for our industries, small businesses out there, uh, and our households. You know, when there's load shedding is quite bad. You know, when I was traveling yesterday from Umtata at night, we could see that, because I said to my wife, this place look very dark. I don't even see one light. And then one of the protectors said, no, it's load shedding. It's load shedding. And it was true. Dark, 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 dark. And now you can imagine, I'm just thinking, what do people do now that they are put in the dark? So, Premier, I want to promise you that we are doing our best. I know that sometimes people think, national government doesn't care. No, we are doing our best to, to keep the lights on. We are retrofitting some of the old power stations to ensure that people can get electricity for industry, for households. But we've also started work on, on the renewables. And the private sector, we want you to come on board. You know, the private sector, Premier, has been complaining to me that we are not inviting them to participate in generation. I'm inviting you today. Please come. Yes, you are invited. Ozan, yeah, come. And we're not making excuses. We want you. So when government say we are going to fix ESCOM, we also are happy if the private sector says we are coming with you to fix ESCOM. We'll give you some stake, you know, not maybe the largest, because we want to control it. But come. So we want the private sector to come. Let's generate together. Let's look at the renewables, gas, solar, wind, battery storage, going forward. So that's what we're going to do. Let me leave the energy issue because I think I've articulated it enough, but just to say that we are concerned about global warming, so don't get me wrong. But the leadership of this country is not interested, doesn't care about global warming. We do, but we have our national agenda to look at. The other issue that I think is important, Premier, is, and I'm happy because you are doing it, is infrastructure development. Roads, bridges, building of schools. I was worried because we got a report in one meeting and somebody said there were children learning under trees. And I said to Minister Mutsecha, your children are still learning under trees. And she explained to us what the problem was. But we must make that something of the past. Let's build schools for our children, proper schools. Can you imagine if it's raining? What do these children do under a tree? So those are the things we must do: build schools, build clinics, hospitals, because we need health facilities, sports facilities for young people, dams and bridges. I'm happy that the Deputy Minister yesterday, when we were in Lusikisiki, because there's a place where I saw these young people putting people in a drum to cross a river. So I asked her, where is this place? And she indicated, I think somewhere past Flagstaff, somewhere not far from Lusikisiki, but in the OR Tambo district. But the good news is that yesterday I got report that the bridge is being built. Premier, the bridge is being built. Because that's what we should be doing. I know that the executive mayor, you said you need financial support, well and good. Even yesterday, all the mayors said they need financial support. But let me tell you, money is not always our problem. Iyabuyela imali ku-treasury when work is not being done. So money is not always our problem. Our problem is implementation. Let's get implementation right. You'll see things will happen. But if money is not being spent, is being returned to treasury, we can't complain about money. Let's use the resources we have. The young person who spoke here was very emphatic about us being able to do things faster, make sure people get licenses faster, get SARS to reopen offices. You know, there are two countries that I saw very interesting things happening that I can't forget. One is Rwanda. I visited Rwanda when I was an MEC in Gauteng to look at how they do development and so on. I also went to Kenya. But in Rwanda, it was very interesting because when those of you who have been to Rwanda, land in Kigali, it's a very clean city. So, Executive Mayor, I'm very happy that one of your programs is to keep the city clean. So I had an opportunity when I was there to meet with the mayor of Kigali, and I asked her one question. Your city looks very clean. Oh, by the way, one of the things she said is that they don't have crime. Zero. You know, ladies can walk 12 midnight. You know, when Lusikisiki, many of our mom were complaining about rape and gender-based violence. In Rwanda is zero. Zero. No gender-based violence, zero crime. But I asked the executive mayor there in Kigali, what does she attribute this success to? So, and Premier, she said, I have a performance contract with the president as an executive mayor. I need to perform. If I perform 100%, 90%, 80%, I'll get a bonus. But if I get 60%, I will be fired. Yes. He said, if I get 60%, I don't have to ask, I must pack my bags and leave. So that's what Paul Kagame does. No smiling, no talk. You don't meet your performance agreement, you are gone tomorrow. I learned out I was only get the chance, we understand, man. You know, or shorting something. The second one that impressed me was the ease of doing business. You know, when I was in Gauteng Premier, there was a time when we do development, EIA will take us 2 years. So one day I was in Parliament, the Premier called me and said, come back to Gauteng, I want you to assist with human settlement. And then one morning he says to me, can you come to the office early? I want to talk to you about something. So I go before cabinet, and then he says to me, in addition to what you are doing, I want you to do something else. Can you assist us to cut red tape in government? So I started with the process, and one of the things I immediately looked at was EIAs. And so we then reduced it from 2 years to 6 months. But of course, it's not good enough, but that was a start when I was there. And I know that they may have pushed it even much less now. Paying off businesses, particularly small businesses, the policy was 30 days. So the premier called me and says, can we do better? So I came and said, okay, premier, we've looked at it, we can cut it to 21 days. And the premier looked at me and said, why not 7 days? So I said, okay, let me go back and look at it. But that's what it is now in Gauteng. You will be paid as soon as you put your invoice. In 7 days, you have gotten everything. I do hope, Premier, I do hope they keep it up. But it's true, because if a service provider put in an invoice, you as a chief director, you look at it and say, okay, we ordered 100 laptops. They delivered 100 laptops. They are all in order. Why not pay them? What are you waiting for? Pay them, because you've received the goods. They are in order. If they are not in order, you call them and say, no, I ordered 100. I see you've given me 80. So I'm going to pay you for 80, not for 100. But let me then conclude this part by telling the story of Rwanda. So I then asked, when I was meeting with the government in Rwanda, how they deal with this thing. They said, no, in Rwanda, when you put in your invoice, or I think the example they gave me was when you apply for a license. You're applying for a license, you want to start a business somewhere, business, whatever. You will receive a response in 6 hours. Not 6 days, 6 hours. And not a response that says, no, we've received your letter, so we thank you very much, we are looking at it. No, a response that says, yes, you will have the license or not. 6 hours. So the ease of doing business to change things can be done. It is being done elsewhere. And I'm sure those of you who have traveled may know that it's not just Rwanda. There are other countries as well that the turnaround makes sure that people are productive, they can do business. So let's strive towards that. Not the SARS that respond to someone in 3 months. We must tell SARS that it is wrong to do that. At least Siabaz will tell them, don't do that. If people have applied, respond to them. Others, why are they there? But it must be, government must take a lead, or government departments, the turnaround must be easier for the ease of doing business. So I've made just that example so that you can see that these things can be done. China, I'm sure many of you have been to China. There have been so many delegations to China. One of the successes of China from the 1980s was they came up with clear plans that are measurable. So what they did, Deng Xiaoping introduced what they call 10-year plan. I'm sure some of you might have read about that. So what the Chinese do, they say, what are we going to do in the next 10 years? This one we want to achieve. They plan. And when I was in China, when they were taking me through that, they said, look, this is 40 years. we have had 10-year plans for 40 years. So every 10 years, we complete our plans. And then we take another 10-year plan. And they say we have made sure that when the 10-year comes, we have achieved what we said we will achieve. China took out more than 700, let me get the number right. You know, I'm trying to remember it. I'm in 700,000 million. Yeah, but Premier, it was a big number. It was a big, it was such a big number. Yeah. Minister Ngesi, you want to help me? You seem to know about this. Okay, but this was a big number. You know, Chinese, they've got a big population. I think it's 1.5 billion. So almost half of that, I think 700 million. 700 million people were taken out of poverty in the space of 30 years. Out of poverty. We don't have that kind of population, but we can come up with our target and say, we as South Africa, we would like to ensure that 10 million people are taken out of poverty in the next 10 years. And plan for it. And plan for it. We must be very rigorous. We must be bold. We must want to achieve the impossible. They are doing it in China. Those of you in China before 1980, you'll know that the China of Mao, they were just chalets and so on. If you go to China now, you go to Shanghai, it's better than New York. They have done it. I was looking recently, they were building a high-speed train under the sea. High-speed train under the sea. So it can be done. We I was saying one day when I was dreaming, I said to some my friends, you know what I want? I want to build a road and a bridge from Waterfall to Robben Island. And somebody says, "Now, man, you are mad." I said, "It can be done." You know, I said, "It can be done." No, suddenly you don't have problem of boats. People can drive to Robben Island. Tourists, they can walk. Then we can even have a marathon starting from Robben Island because there's a road over the sea. It can be done. If you dream big and you are bold, it can be done. The Chinese are doing it. Let me conclude because me and Premier need to go somewhere to see. There are things we must see. Let me conclude by saying we're going to come back and we're going to give you more time to go through the issues that you were dealing with. But I'm very happy we have our champions here, mapping Tatani Mashatile. It's Mbengwinala. These are our champions. Let's make the DTM work. There's no other way. Work together, pool our resources together. We will come back, and when we come back, we will give you more time as business people. But we also want to meet Abo Mama separately. You have issues, Sangit. Yes, we want to give you your time. Young people, we want to give you your time. Young people have good ideas. One say we must build a black bank. I've taken his number, so I called him. I said, "Give me your number," because it's a very interesting way of thinking. And the reason why I want to talk to him, because In February, I met with 2 banks. We are working on that project already. So I will pull him in. But we are not working on building a black bank in South Africa. I want a black bank that will be biggest in the continent. So I've taken his number, we'll be talking to him. But otherwise, I'm very happy to be here and I want to see more of what you're doing. But, you know, umuntu mayenza imisebenzi emihle, we must say so. We must commend them. So Eastern Cape, I will tell the president that you are doing good work. And I will say to the president, we are going back with the ministers to the Eastern Cape to continue to work with them. And Premier, those SOEs that are not doing their work will approach them. You talked about Transnet. Sandral is already doing a good work. You can see the roads that a lot of work's been done here. But, you know, you are on the coast. Yeah, you are one of those provinces that must thrive in ocean economy. So we need to be able to get Transnet to be able to do its part as well. So thank you very much for receiving us. I've noted most of the things that have been raised. We'll get all those reports, and then we will come back and engage more with you. Thank you very much, Akens.